For a brief while, it all looked hopeful. The bombs stopped falling and the people emerged to see what was left of their world. The Israelis called it a recess in offensive operations, but this was a recess in which nobody went outside to play. Instead, the besieged people of Gaza came out to get what they need to survive. A convoy of about 80 trucks loaded with relief supplies was allowed to enter the strip, and the Hamas militants promised that they too would hold fire and stop launching their rockets into Israel. It was a time to retrieve those bodies of the dead which could not be collected while the air raids continued, and a time to bury those killed in the Israeli attack on a United Nations school, which has become the single deadliest episode of this war. The Israelis still insist the civilians taking shelter in the school were being used as human shields by a Hamas mortar squad. The UN says it had warned the Israelis the school was full of families seeking refuge.
Yesterday we had children, large amounts, very severe injuries, and I had children dying between my hands.
For 3 hours this afternoon, there was the taste of peace, the beginnings perhaps of an end game, but not the end, not yet. Neither side apparently has the conditions it needs to stop. And so the shelling resumed, as the Israelis said that they welcomed a proposed peace initiative, but could not yet accept a deal that did not guarantee an end to Hamas rocket fire. They again pounded the southern Gaza cross-border tunnels used to bring in weapons materials. And the Hamas rockets flew again too, as the militants said the proposal did not guarantee the Israeli blockade of Gaza would be lifted. The Israelis have released footage of prisoners they've captured, and they continue to weaken Hamas, but they have not gotten near its leadership or apparently broken its will. Yet the Israeli cabinet has put off a decision whether to go to a further phase of this operation and push forward into the urban areas to seek out Hamas fighters. While there is only talk of a potential deal, there is still fighting. And just beyond this checkpoint, the last one before the Israeli operational area around Gaza, the Israelis are making preparations for their third stage assault if the talks in Cairo are not successful. They're building a forward field hospital just a couple of miles up this road. Katie?
And Mark, does a pause in the bombing give either side any kind of strategic advantage?
Well, there was a lot of concern on the Israeli side that it would give Hamas the advantage and allow it to conciliate and regroup. And you can bet that while the Israelis weren't bombing, they still had their drones overhead, as they do right now, looking perhaps for the Hamas leadership they'd like to find.
All right. Mark Phillips reporting along the Israel-Gaza border for us tonight.